Good morning, friends. It's Friday, the 28th of February, 2025, and it's time for your news from dinarguru.com. On February 27, 2025, Intel Guru Bruce, via Wiser Now, stated that based on what was heard, they believe we are 1 or 2 days from being notified. And this ends this report. Here is our next report from dinarguru.com. 2/27/2025, Intel Newshound Guru Mark Z, via PDK, reports that former Prime Minister Al-Kazemi is back in Baghdad to act as a mediator between the U.S. and Saudi political systems. He is extremely well-versed and well-connected in these systems. His return is aimed at facilitating the final agreements with the U.S., Saudi Arabia, and various currencies. The situation is under the guidance of a capable team, and there is excitement in the developments being observed. And this ends this report. Here is our next report from dinarguru.com. On February 27, 2025, Intel Guru Frank 26 reported that an article indicated al-Sudani and the U.S. Secretary of State discussed areas of coordination between the two countries by phone. Frank 26 described this phone call as magic and suggested that the conversation was significant, comparing it to the immediate recognition of a match being struck. And this ends this report. Here is our next report from dinarguru.com. On February 27, 2025, Newshound Guru Samson reported that the National Bank of Iraq has won the Excellence Award from Citibank in recognition of its outstanding performance. And this ends this report. Here is our next report from dinarguru.com. On February 27, 2025, Newshound Guru Tishwash reported that the Parliamentary Legal Committee revealed the plan for sessions during Ramadan. It was stated that Parliament will not be suspended and sessions will take place in the evening to ensure the continuation of legislative work before the end of the current session. And this ends this report. Here is our next report from dinarguru.com. On February 27, 2025, Newshound Guru Claire reported that the National Bank of Iraq has won the Excellence Award from Citibank in recognition of its outstanding performance. The award serves as a global testament to the bank's efficiency in executing financial transactions with utmost precision, as it excels in ensuring that transactions are processed according to the highest international standards. This achievement reinforces the position of the National Bank of Iraq as one of the leading banks in the Iraqi banking sector. And this ends this report. Here is our next report from dinarguru.com. On February 27, 2025, Newshound Intel Guru Walking Stick reports that very early in the morning, Aki will participate in a large meeting that will be broadcast to all CBI banks, including private banks and financial institutions that have been collaborating on the monetary reform with the CBI and the U.S. Treasury. This meeting is scheduled to last for 2 days, Thursday and Friday, with one day likely focused on banks, exchange rate, currency, and monetary reform, and the other day addressing the international status of Iraq. And this ends this report. Here is our next report from dinarguru.com. On February 27, 2025, Intel Guru Frank 26 provided an Iraq boots-on-the-ground report via Firefly, indicating that the oil minister announced that oil export flows to regions will begin much earlier than expected, starting next week. This development is seen as excellent news. Frank expressed doubt that the oil would flow at 1310, suggesting a massive collision of events, and while he is confident that oil will flow next week, he is uncertain about the timing of a new exchange rate revelation, though he believes it will occur eventually. Firefly mentioned that the current reports indicate the oil flow might be at 1310, and this ends this report. Here is our next report from dinarguru.com. Intel Newshound Guru Mark Z stated, "I don't know our timing yet. I think we could be just a few days away." And this ends this report. Here's our next report from dinarguru.com. On February 27, 2025, Newshound Guru Militiaman stated, "For all you folks that have been in the dinar for a long time, if you remember back 15 plus years ago, who was there? Citibank was." He quoted an article mentioning, in recognition of its outstanding performance, gave the Excellence Award to the National Bank of Iraq in managing incoming and outgoing financial transfers. stressing that this is an achievement that reflects its commitment to the highest standards of quality and transparency in banking services. Militiaman concluded that they are ready to go, and this ends this report. Here is our next report from dinarguru.com. On February 27, 2025, Newshound Guru Samson reports an article titled "Final Warning and Immediate Implementation. Washington draws red lines for Baghdad, no more leniency." And this ends this report. Here is our next report from dinarguru.com. On February 27, 2025, Newshound Guru Claire reported that the American website Fox News published a report indicating that Trump is preparing to impose sanctions on Iraqi groups. These measures are part of the maximum pressure strategy, targeting countries with economic ties to Iran, which includes Iraq. The sanctions may penalize several banks and impact Baghdad's reserves at the U.S. Federal Reserve. An informed political source, who requested to remain anonymous, indicated that American sanctions could be issued soon and will likely include a list of political figures associated with armed factions. And this ends this report. Here is our next report from dinarguru.com. Intel Guru Frank 26 reported on February 27, 2025, expressing excitement each time he hears Saleh mention that the banking structure in Iraq now has security and stability. He noted that these were the same words emphasized by Dr. Shabibi, the author of the Iraqi monetary reform, as prerequisites before a new exchange rate could be released. These are exciting times. And that ends all the news from dinarguru.com. Thank you for joining us, and we hope you have a great Friday.